You're listening to the Para House Entertainment Network. Come join us as we take you deep into the fire to the paranormal realms of hauntings, UFOs, ETs, alien abductions, strange creatures, and the vastness of universal consciousness as we continue to seek what is not supposed to exist as we search for the truth that only comes from going into the fire. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Into the Fire. It's going to be a super night tonight. We've got a lot of guests in. I've got to add one who dropped out on us. It is a wonderful Tuesday night. It's been a great week here. Temperatures have been fantastic compared to what it was a week ago, and we're all happy about that. In fact, before the show, Katie was telling me that it made it a 55 up in the great North Woods.
Yeah, it was a beautiful day. I cannot complain.
Yes, excellent. Let me introduce the co-host for tonight, Mr. Billy Sims, and his wonderful better half, Tanya. We also have Melvin Brazel in here tonight. And you can see on our screen, we have the ultimate duo tonight with Richard Ruland and Katie Turner. So we're really excited about having you all here. And we're going to be, you're going to be watching the chat room. Hello, chat room. I haven't seen anything out of there. So let me go to the chat room right now. Say hi to Nikki Bo,
Frankie Land, Chris Garcia.
Hi, Frankie. Hello, everybody. Hello, Chris Garcia. How you doing, my friend? Tawana Bear's in there. There she is. There's Sherry. Welcome all to the show tonight. We look forward to having you. And, of course, as you know, we'll be watching this for your comments and everything else. We'll ask questions of our guests. And there goes Melvin again. So it's going to be one of those nights where we'll see Melvin and not see Melvin. So as he fiddles with
tired.
Let's just hope he keeps his pants on.
Yeah.
No, he's so tired.
I was going to read the bios, but I think it's better, and I always like it when you guys let everyone just speak out about your own bios, because you can tell the story a little bit better than I can. I can read, but sometimes I don't read very well. So I'll go ahead and we'll do ladies first. All right, Richard. So Katie, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what have you been doing lately?
Well, thank you. So my name is Katie Turner. I am a full-time psychic medium and paranormal investigator with the Canadian Supernatural Research Society. I have been psychic my whole life, and so I started to put that to use as a kid and started to get intrigued, and a lot of the activity didn't go away. So I developed a team, and from there we started investigating. And now this is my full-time job. This is what I do on the daily. And on Sunday nights, I got to get the shameless plug in here. On Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Facebook Live, I have a wonderful show called Let's Talk About It. I am the co-host with the wonderful Richard Ruland. So yeah, that's all about me. I'm located in the Great White North, and it's pretty white right now. Hopefully, it won't be for long. But yeah, that's me, guys.
Well, at 55 degrees today, that ought to be melting off soon.
Amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing for up there. My good friend.
I feel like I owe her money for that pitch she just made.
That's right. That's it.
Billy Sims, for a very long period of time on my show, was the underpaid marketing guy. That was the thing. Working with our show some time ago as a good friend of mine. But I have been in the paranormal. I'm Richard Ruland. I've been in the paranormal now for a couple of decades. Yeah, worked my way through. I've run a couple of teams. Currently run open to public investigations with now going to be 4 locations coming up. I've had an absolutely wonderful opportunity to investigate and visit Octagon Hall. But I've been doing this now for a long time. Stepped away to do this show with a wonderful co-host, and you'll find out that I will shut up more often than talk because she's a lot better at speaking than I am. But yeah, I mean, I love how we do our show, and I love the informational resource that it is. So we do that for that. We really enjoy it, and I couldn't ask for a better co-host. So just saw a couple of our fans come in, guys. Thank you for showing up. We appreciate
Yeah,
you.
thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
I am, and thank you so much for welcoming. We'll welcome you, and you're doing it on Sunday night, correct?
Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern.
I would love to attend sometime, but I've been doing one of the things that I do S4 radio on the West Coast for 3 hours on Sunday night, and I get out at about midnight.
You know, it's funny. We were doing our show for an hour, and we kept on finding out that we kept on hitting that hour mark pretty quick.
Yeah,
And
you
then the fan base was like, guys, why don't we just, why don't you think about doing 90 minutes? And now we're doing 90 minutes.
Yeah, and
And that even sometimes doesn't feel like it's enough either. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, you know it's one of those things that you have to gauge by, because depending on who you have as a guest and where it goes, and on radio, podcast live thing is different because people, I don't know what it is, they're looking at you, you know. So
Yeah.
and on radio, totally different. But Billy, you have.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you did. You know,
Yeah,
you did.
I guarantee you did. I guarantee you did. Billy is one of these nights I'll get him to take care of S4 radio for me, and I'll watch your show.
There you go.
Sounds good.
There you go.
And if you guys
what
haven't checked out S4,
what
check
do you
them
got
out. They're
going
really-
on? We're gonna plug it a few times tonight because we'll plug it
Awesome.
at the end of the show also. But who's your guest coming up to be this Sunday night?
We don't do guests because I'll tell you
Really?
the frank, oh God, earthquake. Sorry. The frankness behind it is that I talk too long, and I love her, but she talks too long, and there's no room for that. Plus, our viewers on it, and I love it. It's yours. She knows I'm picking on her, but our viewers are just so interactive with commentary and questions. A guest wouldn't have a shot. They wouldn't have a time to even be able to speak, because
Yeah.
we do topical discussions, very similar to a lot of shows, but we have so much commentary and questions, experience, shared best practices, and everything else with everybody that are viewing the show that we would never have time for a guest. We're going to have to do it at some point, I believe, but people really love the format of just her and I just kind of shooting it off with answers and all of that, and bringing, again, experience, research, and they love that format. But we're going to eventually have to get to guests.
Well,
Yeah, and you
guys-
guys are
you
most
guys do take,
certainly
like-
welcome when we do. We would love to have you.
There you go.
Well, thank you so very
You guys
much. It
take
would be a
requests as far
pleasure
as
to do
what
that.
you're going to be talking about, correct?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Billy, what'd you say?
You take requests on what your episodes are going to be about.
I Mike Rowe it. That's what I call it. I call it Mike Rowan. Mike Rowe does a lot of that when he was doing Dirty Jobs. And
Yeah, exactly.
I'll pitch it at the end of the night. Hey, guys, and actually the last probably, everything but the first couple of shows in the last quarter have been viewer requested. So, we just want to bring them what they want to hear. So they want to hear about, hauntings of some kind or methodologies of some kind, then we're going to do it. That's just how we'll do it. We'll figure out how to make it work.
I think it's the best way to do it too. And speaking of that chat room, and I see Melvin's now in the chat room, and he's made himself back here, so we'll bring Melvin back in.
Oh, there he is.
And chat room, I mean, I would love to use the same concept here. So if you do have any person that you would like to see, everything else, we do have. I saw Chris Garcia in there. He'll be coming back again. And it's great because we've got psychic mediums. I mean, Katie has had experiences since she was a child. She has a broad sense of psychic abilities through it all. Richard also has the same thing. Tanya has the same thing. Melvin, ooh.
Melvin is the thing.
Yeah, that's it.
But what's
And,
nice is everybody does things differently.
Right,
know.
exactly.
And that's the
Exactly.
thing
We
that a
all
lot
take
of people, they just don't understand that. Psychic
Right.
mediums, empaths, all operate so completely differently. Even psychic mediums operate differently from each other in a lot of ways. And people just have a hard time understanding that.
Mm-hmm.
correct. It's, to me, I think that as many years as all of us put together on this screen is spent in here, we ought to be able to talk about some pretty fantastic things and everything else. Now, tell me, Katie, what is the Canadian Supernatural Research Society?
Well, it's a pretty devoted team. So it's some like-minded people that I decided to put together. And we began to investigate. And, when we first started, everybody wants the golden grail of evidence, right? Everybody wants the best evidence they can get. And so we invested a lot of time and money into some equipment and started going from there. But, it really kind of fell into helping people. Up here, there's a lot of residential cases. We don't have kind of the platforms that you guys have there where you can go and do public investigations. There are some, but it's really not as prevalent as you guys. So we really spend a lot of time helping families, trying to make sense of what they're seeing. There's businesses that we go into. There's a couple local haunts that we like to entertain quite a bit, but for the most part, we just devote our time to helping people, cleansing, educating, and trying to put people's minds at ease.
Oh, I love that.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Yes, bravo.
Thank you.
That is the whole reason why I think a lot of us are in here to do what we do. We are here to help others. That is the major thing that we want to do. That's the reason why I do it anymore. We all started out looking at evidence and everything else. I still debunk, and we all debunk. But at the same time, it's not about the evidence. We're looking for the evidence to be able to find out what is in a home. We do so many residentials, and it's so important to find out exactly what you're going to be dealing with, and use the people that have the abilities of you, that both of you and Tanya have, and everyone else, because it offers that opportunity to expand and grow so much, so we can really cover all bases and be able to help our clients. And I think
Absolutely,
I think it's wonderful. It's just it's super. Now, you've done a little bit of TV, have you not?
I have. So I've done a couple shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been able to be a part of them. I'm still still considered to be with Paranormal Survivor. So
Yeah.
we did one through season 5, and we haven't heard much as of COVID. And then there's a new series that's actually airing, I think, in the States this spring, and it's called My Paranormal Nightmare. So that'll be airing as well. I believe in Canada it's Travel and Escape. I think it's the Travel Channel for you guys, or Destination America. So that's going to be exciting too.
Oh, it sounds exciting. It sounds super exciting. My life is a paranormal nightmare.
Right.
But we were talking before the show tonight. Billy and myself were on the phone, and we have, from dealing with all this stuff, and Richard, this to be true and everything else. These things come by and visit you every once in a while, or something strange happens in your home.
Oh, yeah.
And lately down here, I don't know how it's been in Tennessee, down in your area there, but around here it's been pretty interesting. They seem to be dropping in and out within the last week at least. And I've got a new pup out here, and he is learning to be familiar, I guess. He's going to be, and he picks up on it and stares at it, barks at it, looks at it, goes and gets it. So he may be a paranormal dog.
Oh.
You never know.
Paranormal pooch.
Yes, that's it.
Billy,
What do you think
Billy, what
causes
is
all
your-
this stuff? I'll leave it to both of you. What do you think causes this? Is it, we've all spent a lot of time in the field and everything else. What kind of energies? You think it's the energy? Is it the people itself? Where do you go with that?
Well, I think with I'll just take a quick swing at it. When you have a person with abilities, you're a magnet. I mean, if I were to show you now, I've got a line of crusted salt around the inside walls of my house.
Mm-hmm.
I had to punt kick a nasty guy out of my house.
Yep.
I think when you're that catalyst, that generator, by being a person with abilities, you're never going to get away from it. But I think a lot of it now, with a lot of the what I call the uptick, and I hate that word, but I use it once in a while. The uptick in activity that people are capturing or noticing, I think we've all become more aware by exposure. TV, I love doing this, but podcasts, it exposes people to the paranormal. They become more aware. They'll get apps on their phones now where they wouldn't have 10 years ago.
Right.
It's all a matter of exposure, better research opportunities, better resources to be able to find it, and an innate desire to want to talk to the dead.
Why do you think that is?
Why do I? Because we sensationalize it on TV pretty well.
Exactly.
You get people out there and go, they act like they've, just met their best friend they haven't seen in 2,500 years, and they make it very theatrical. And it's whereas with the shows that Katie has done and doing, they're informational. She's consultative. Most of the shows are very theatrical. They're like, I call them a paranormal soap opera.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to say it. I don't really care. Billy knows I don't care. Tanya knows I don't care. But to me, you can't really have a soap opera without having, or a show really without having kind of decent realism. And there's a lot of garbage out there, but it works really good on TV. It makes great TV.
Right.
And then people go, oh, I want to do that. I want to have somebody scratch me. I want to have somebody throw a rock at my boot. I want to have somebody say my name. I want to have somebody say kill me.
Yeah.
So, that's just kind of where it comes from. It's really nice to look at. It's really fun to watch.
Right. Until you try to go and do it. And it was funny.
Yeah.
We've just done we did a home a week ago. And this lady's brother was deciding that he's seen it on TV and he thinks that he could be the best ever out there, and is looking to buy equipment and go out there and do it. And I'm trying to tell him, you don't know what kind of trouble you can get into. And most of the people.
That's why we have jobs.
That's right.
Don't quit your day job. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have a day job. This is my day job.
Now, I've had a lot of people that come to me and go, "Oh, I want to be a paranormal investigator." Okay. What do you think I should do? Well, I'll tell you what you should do. I got a couple locations I investigate in with the public. Why don't you come out on a tour or two? Or, I'll take you out to the stream house and maybe somebody will grab your butt, right, Billy? And then, come to me when you're done with the tour, and then let me know how you feel about that.
Yeah.
And I've had, some that'll come and go, "You're crazy. I'm good. Thank you very much." And they walk out the door. And then I've had some, like Billy, that, will take the abuse and go, "Yeah, I want more." And then I'll help you figure out, where to get equipment from and all of that.
Yeah. Well,
what he's talking about, Richard has seen me come unglued before.
It doesn't happen very often.
Well, Billy, I'll give you the quick backstory.
I'm pretty sure I levitated.
We were doing a filming in a place that's in it was an abandoned building being refabbed for something else in Athens, Tennessee, and the entryway to the basement, I had been approached and touched and interacted with there with an entity in a building, and Billy was running camera for us, and he's trying to do his best to get a good shot, got into a good angle, got by the door of the basement, and it tried to pull the wall out of his butt, his back pocket, and grabbed him. He jumped. He's very nimble that evening.
Oh yeah.
And then all night long, I could hear everything going on behind me.
Yeah,
You know,
still
and
have
it's
that
funny
problem,
because
you
I've
know,
had a
that
lot of
way.
camera
First, you gave
people.
me kudos for being a trooper.
That's right. You know, I've had a lot of camera people when we were filming. You know, I've had several of them quit. You know, they don't realize that, hey, you're the camera guy, you're running camera, but they will screw with you more now because you're not paying attention to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's, you know, Billy was, you know, trying to pay attention to getting a good shot and everything because he did a great job. But they made sure he realized that they were there.
Yeah.
I felt it rush me coming towards me, but it got me from behind.
Oh, we
You
got
know, so I feel it coming at me, and my body is going towards it because like I said, I came up off the ground.
Yeah, now and understand, folks who don't know Billy very well, he's a very calm, cool, collected guy, except for that night.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that.
Billy is one of those pleasures to work with, and if you ever
Yeah, he is.
If you ever get the opportunity and get a chance to be with Billy, it is one of the great honors for me to be able to work with Billy and with Tanya, and and I truly mean that, guys. And here comes Melvin again. Melvin, I'm not talking about you anymore.
In and out.
Yeah.
In and out.
Can't hear you either now.
No, we cannot read your lips.
Yeah, can't.
I don't know if I want to read your lips.
Yep.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right. No. Go with that. No, man, no kidding, no doubt. You're right.
Yeah, that's it. It's
right what about now?
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, there you are.
There he is. But you know,
we lost him again.
You
know what's funny is he's never this quiet when he views our show.
I was just looking at the comments.
You know, he's like he's very subdued, and I'll tell you one thing. It's I can't tell enough about our team and the people we deal with. We're family, and it's a wonderful thing. We've been together for a long time, and Billy and Tanya are the newest additions, and we're just happy to be able to have them on our team, and hopefully we keep them busy enough.
Hey, Billy, you didn't tell me
the other day about how the schedule is like this.
Yeah,
It's a constant juggle.
Billy, you didn't tell me your twin brother was going to be on the show. He just cut his beard off, man. What's up with that? You know?
Yeah. He's trimmed it up. But you know, as we go through different things, and I know, Richard, you work with 3 different places, and you do the tours and you do the things like that. We also do the same thing, as you said, at Otian Hall, helping with Otian Hall. And I was amazed at some of the stuff that you captured and sent to me at the hall the last time you were there. And
a lot.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was just excellent. Some decent pictures, great photos, and everything else. And it's so. What is your overall opinion of the hall?
Oh, I love the hall. I wish it was bigger because I like big buildings. But you know, I love the. I mean, of course, honestly, the history of the place is very intriguing. And that draws me. I'm a big history guy. And honestly, it's going to sound extraordinarily weird, but the energy flow in the building, because it is somewhat round, to me kind of fills and flows to the entire building because it's the way it's shaped. I think that's got to do with it. But when I took I had one of my people take a picture in the surgical room. I mean, we captured and, pointed out 2 people right there just kind of watching us.
Right.
Very inquisitive, which is what I like. I didn't come across anything negative. I mean, I just, I think the thing with tours or investigations, negative comes when you make it come.
Right.
Unless it's a different situation. If you force negative out of something, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Never, I felt, really well engaged with the entities that were there. We had, like I said, I showed you the photos. I mean, there's one photo I sent you where I've got a servant lady just sitting there right in between, Delbert and I.
Right.
And
Yeah, I know.
make her eyes out. I mean, just, it was that good. The place has got incredible history. We actually, I don't know if I sent you or not, we have a picture at the family cemetery site.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't have that, I'll find it and get it to you. The child's stone, the one stone for the child. Did you see that picture?
I haven't seen that picture.
Okay, so we've got snap, nothing, snap. The stone is solid white with light. Just the stone, not around it, not over it. The stone was. Yeah. Snap, gone. Snap, you got what I call a stingray spirit orb, light anomaly going up away from the stone. It was just really kind of really incredible stuff. But yeah, we caught a lot. The gazebo, guys, if you rent out the hall, go to the gazebo, sit down, shut up. Sit down and shut up. We had K2 meters. They would hit on command. They would, EVPs, any kind of EMF meter, they will literally bounce off of and just interact with you. It's great stuff.
Right. And it is a tremendous thing. And we always try to tell people to get check it all out. The weird thing about it is that it's one of those very strange paranormal places. Katie, I know you've been to several places also. Have you ever seen the places that have the ability to like bring it all at the same time?
Absolutely. Yes. So, I don't know if it's the dynamic of my team, if the fact that we're all kind of a family, if it's our abilities, but we're pretty lucky when we go to locations. We're a skeptical crew in the sense that we try to debunk things. Not everything is paranormal, and we try to make logic of it. But we're pretty lucky, and we've been to some great locations that have blown our minds. There's one location I talk about all the time called Buck Hill, and definitely if you're back up in Canada, anybody who wants to come up, you're more than welcome. I'll bring you. It is one of the most haunted locations I've ever been. There's been other teams that have gone and they haven't been as successful. Now, was it just an off night or is it our dynamic? I don't know, but it's never disappointing. There's some local areas that we've been to, and there's actually a psychiatric hospital in Eastern Ontario that we were at last fall. It was the same thing. Like, it was absolutely everything was going on at one time, and we were not disappointed leaving. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's strange, and when people ask me about hunts and everything else, I always do. There's pay places that are residentials. There are pay places that are hospitals. There are pay places that are insane asylums, jails, and all that. And I rate them all by that. I don't put them in the same category because you mentioned the asylums and the sanitarium, and
off the charts, right?
Off the charts. And one comes to mind, Trans-Allegheny Trella up in West Virginia. It is it's a large building, and that's another place. If you ever get an opportunity to go there, that is
the
just
border's ever open. Trust me, I have a bucket list.
The border's open. She's doing an entire tour of the Southeast United States, starting with Casper, Georgia. Just saying.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you're more than welcome to come to Ottawa Hall anytime.
Oh, thank you.
So you're
on my list, I promise.
Excellent. We'd enjoy to have you there. But, one of the things that we see so much, and I like the idea you're talking about the dynamics of a team. We all have certain people that bring their own things to the team, and when we go in somewhere, we're not talking about, well, what do you want me to do? Where are we going to go? What are we going to do? We all go and do what we do. We've been doing it for a long time. And we all pool our energies and our sources all together at the same time to be able to help our clients or to be able to get a better investigation or elsewhere. But one of the things that we find that happens to us more often is that when we go to some of these locations, the paranormal activity is just not what we consider to be spirit activity. It can be strange creatures. It can be portals opening up. You see the ground changing. You could see UFOs. um, uh, cryptids, all this stuff all at the same time, and some things that I don't even know how to explain. Do you guys encounter that a lot because of your psychic ability and other things at certain locations?
Absolutely. Yes, for sure. That's what intrigues me even more. I like to test myself as a psychic. So when we go to locations, I don't like to know any information other than the address. I have a historian on my team that she kind of does the interview and finds out the history of the place, but we try to keep it quiet so that I can test these theories. And I mean, other members of our team do the same thing. But just for that factor to see what we're dealing with. Is this something supernatural? Is it, does it come down to openings of portals or extraterrestrial origin? We've done certain investigations that we feel it was more of a Bigfoot footing rather than paranormal, but at the same time we were able to pick up some wonderful EVPs. So sometimes you walk in with expectations and something else happens and it blows your mind.
Yeah, it does. It blows your mind so much. And we've had a guest on here before, Patrick Jackson. He's in the UK, and he's written a book called Quantum Paranormal. And he opens up some ideas in your mind that Billy and I were both looking at going, "Woof, we got more more things to go with," and it's just amazing. In the chat room here, chat room. Here we go. I'm looking for a question, chat room. If you have anything that you'd like to ask these wonderful guests, please put it up there. I'll go through it. Billy, you've been going through it at all, or you?
Yeah, I'm watching.
Okay, but one of the things that I think is important about the tours, doing the things like this, the novice times, and getting out with other people and always helping people, is to also help other teams.
Right.
You guys, we're all. I mean, I am. I'm the old dude of the group, and I love to be able to help other teams out, to help them work with stuff, everything else, and I know I'm more probably that you guys deal with that more than most people know about, don't you?
Well, honestly, we actually have a lot of interaction with a lot of people from teams on our show. We've got people from British Columbia that come on and watch our show, and people from the UK that have teams that watch our show. We have a lot of team members, founders, whatever, that come out to our show because, again, we do a lot of best practice sharing. We do a lot of Q&A. We do have a lot of research questions that we get asked and we talk about. And the one thing I like about it is, and I'm sorry to another shameless plug about our show, but what I'd like about it too, that seems to be a good dynamic for the viewers, is that it's a safe environment. You can be an enthusiast and ask a question, you're not going to get picked on. You can be a team founder with 30 years experience and may have a question, and it's going to be put into a framework that all people can understand of it. But it's a very safe environment for that. And people have a lot of best practice sharing on there with us. We don't know everything. We've got people that are giving our viewers answers that we didn't have. So it's really just a constant flow of commentary and just experience and things like that. Nikki Bao is one of ours. She actually posed a question on here a second ago about how to deal with rapid or aggressive expanding energy. My quick answer, Nikki, reach out to me offline. Cut the communication lines. Start a cleansing, break it off. Put it right to halt right away. Don't play with it. Get rid of it. I do a lot of investigations and cleansings in homes. I don't do an investigation in a lot of the homes. I just go in and clean it.
Yeah.
I don't want to stir it up. I'm just going to go in and clean it. Just cut the communication cord and just move on.
We do it kind of different than that because there's so many different things that you deal with in some of the homes.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You're also dealing with the people, so it gives us an opportunity to look at that, look at the different things. And we also want to know exactly what we're dealing with because that's the way that we handle how we're going to do a cleansing, how we're going to do the removal, what we're going to do to be able to make it good and last. We don't have Mike Barr has got a question on it. It says, are any of you Native American by blood or by your ancestors?
No.
Not that I know of.
I do have Native American blood in me.
Me too.
And I do also, and it's by my ancestors. And my better half here is her grandmother is full-blooded Cherokee. So, yep. And I think that if Melvin could get on the line, he'd tell you that he's got some Shawnee in his family also.
Well, my family has, marinara runs through our veins. So
Marinara. I love it.
Can make a good pizza. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hey, you gotta love the Italian stuff.
I'm pretty sure Sherry's waiting for the karma, Richard.
Yeah,
I bet she is.
yeah. And Sherry's got a question up there. Sherry's got a question that says, just wondering, I've been on investigations with Richard. Smile, ghosts. But has he ever had anything happen to him as far as aliens to go with? And I've never asked him. So have any of you had any alien experiences or ET experiences?
I've had one experience where I couldn't exactly claim for sure it was alien, but nothing friggin' looks like that. That's it. I mean, honestly, that's it. At the right hotel, and I've talked about this enough, and I'm going to see eyebrows of my co-host probably raise in a minute. But see, there they go. See, yeah, I know her pretty well. We have contact research confirmed, videoed, got video evidence, photographic evidence of a boggart, which isn't exactly alien, but it is part of the Fey law.
Right.
And we've actually captured it in several different ways at the right hotel. So something that's supposed to be mythical has been captured.
You know, that's one of the funny things. The Fae, and we deal with Fae all the time, correct, Billy and Tanya? We've seen the Fae. It's kind of different. A lot of people don't follow it. That's why it's so important to understand all the paranormal. And all of the ancient lores, all the stuff, because maybe it's because of social conditioning and all that other stuff it's been totally wiped clean of. But it's amazing what you run into and what you get and what you feel. And the Fae can be a very tricky bunch. And there's good Fae and there's bad Fae, just like any spirit around.
I've got a confession to make. Okay. I was really hoping we would see some of our fans on here because, I like seeing our fans. But they come here and they kind of remind me of things that, that like me, have me in check if I ever have a big attitude about me. And Joanne Stewart, I love you, Joanne. No, Richard only hears chickens.
It's always nice. It's fun.
Katie, here's your shot.
Yeah.
Good Lord, I'm telling you, I'm gonna get him a ringtone, a chicken ringtone. It's gonna be some haunted chicken ringtone.
Let me explain if I can just for a moment. I investigated the right hotel 6+ years ago. We filmed there, and one of my investigators on the 3rd floor, I know the room he was in. We call it the heart attack room because when you go in, it kind of feels like you're having a heart attack at first.
Sounds welcoming.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on your chest. And then he was in there and on digital recorder. I don't know how to say Class A to a chicken cluck, but Class A, an EVP, Class A, very loud, was a chicken cluck. Okay, we just said, strange crap, Flash forward 5.5 years later, I'm filming there again with my new team. We're on the 3rd floor, chicken cluck. Then investigating again, we hear an entity, Class A, EVP, that says, I like chickens. So I'm going to be forever known as the chicken man.
I'm going to get him a T-shirt made that says, the chicken is my spirit animal.
Now that would be wonderful.
No, it wouldn't. No.
Sign of the chicken.
No.
All I know is that And my favorite thing is reptilians taste like chicken. So, but yeah, we have, there's so much to go into. And Katie, did you have, I'd love to hear your side of alien ET type of experiences, being psychic and having all of it all pushed together in multiple spectrums. I'm assuming that you may be dealing with that. Do you?
So I've had a couple experiences that I can't explain that doesn't feel the same in terms of the energy of something paranormal or ghostly. In terms of actually witnessing things, there's been 3 occasions that I've had, and I can call them UFOs. I've never seen them touch down or, you know what I mean? I've had that open communication. But there's been a couple of scenarios where I saw something that I cannot explain. It did not appear to be anything paranormal. It was in the sky. It was very, very large. And the rate of speed that it was moving was not something that you would see with an airplane or even my husband is in the Canadian Forces. And so I live very close to a military base. So I'm aware of the different types of aircraft, and it was nothing that would ever even remotely come close to that. And when I mean motion, I mean 1 second, within a 20 kilometer radius, it was beside me the whole time, like that. It was pretty. It showed up and it went away. It was something profound. I can't explain it. I don't get a paranormal feel as much as extraterrestrial. There was another scenario where I watched things appear in the sky and disappear. The good thing about this one is I was with a bunch of people, so it wasn't as if it was my blood pressure blinking. All witnessed this. It was pretty cool. And there was one other time that I went to the capital, Canada's capital, the Ottawa, and they had asked me to come and do a cleansing for a lady. And the activity that was presenting was not normal. This was not something that to me would smudge and get this away. And she's like, by the way, I captured all these pictures in the sky. I'm like, what do you mean? She's paranoid. And paranoid in a real sense that after she started capturing all of these images in the sky, the activity started in her house and things were being moved. She was being scratched. The dog was starting to react. And it was very intimidating for her. So those are basically the only things that I've had, but no interaction that I know of. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting stuff. I mean, one of the things that we call, in this field, because we do it all. State director of MUFON here in Kentucky. Also do all the cryptids, everything we can get involved in. We try to, but that covers the full spectrum of the paranormal, because we believe it's all intertwined. So when I say it's intertwined like that, what do you guys say about that kind of thing? We have found that in some cases, when we're at a UFO abductee or even someone that's had a sighting, the next thing that happens is that they start seeing shadow figures.
Shadow figures.
They have electrical disturbances in their house. It gets very crazy. So all this high strangeness is all related. And it happens with Bigfoot accounts. It happens with spirit accounts. And it happens with UFO and alien accounts. So what do you guys think of that?
I think it's all energy. All energy. And the fact that it's all energy, you can't discriminate. And I think that we all kind of feed off of the same thing. We're all drawn to that. And I think that's the easiest way for communication and making themselves bigger, stronger, is sucking onto that energy. So you can't discriminate, that Bigfoot's not going to do it, but spirits will. And, we're not there yet. We're still having this research being done, but bottom line, that's the common denominator in my experience.
Yes. I
agree.
I mean,
for me, honestly, I think once you're, and I hate putting it this way, but it's the truth. Once you're targeted by energy being collected around you, it opens the door.
Right.
I think you can start out with a simple, I saw something out of the corner of my eye in the hallway. 6 months later, you've got shadow people, full-bodied apparitions, covers being pulled off of you. Oh crap! There's some guy that's 8 foot tall with a head this big, Yeah, I mean, it just kind of collects after a little while.
Mhm.
And I think the more that we're open to it, I think the more you receive it.
Yeah.
And, well, we kind of have a term for it. We call it being marked.
Well, okay, yeah.
And I always
Yeah, for us,
describe it like,
for us,
you know,
our
you
son
go-
would call people,
you go to a
yeah.
social gathering, you introduce yourself, and now you're familiar with certain individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with,
Yeah,
They-
no,
they
I
know
agree. I
you.
mean, I said the word marked. I think you're not that far off. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think that's the way it is. Targeted, marked, yeah, you are. You know, I mean, it seems like you have certain types of people in my book that, you know, constantly have something going on in their house. Constantly going on in their house, you know, and then a lot of it could just be them. Yeah. Maybe the property's on a fault line. Maybe the property's on an underground river. I don't know, but something's generating the energy. Then that person themselves are very open to the energy. And it doesn't matter what the energy is at that point.
Right.
Because as Katie said, it's all energy.
And it's funny how some people have like an experience, a trauma or something like that jolts them. And then when they have that jolting, that is when I hate to use the cliche, but I kind of use it like the veil kind of picks up a little bit.
Yep.
And or it thins out for them.
Mhm.
And that's when the other starts coming in and starting feeding and doing that. Do you guys see that also?
Well, yeah, I mean, the veil thins every May and October.
Oh,
Right.
October is terrible.
You know, so I mean, so it's just, again, it's just kind of opening that door.
Hmm. Yeah, it does.
Opening that door.
I think too, in terms of energy, because we have a universal energy or universal consciousness, and that's a higher vibrational frequency. So in terms of talking about quantum physics and energy, when you have a traumatic experience, your vibrational frequency goes up. Okay, so when you think of raging water, some raging waters are great things. It's not as if it's coming at you. It's just the natural flow. And then there's scenarios where the river banks have broken and they're coming at you. The bottom line is the raging river is a raging river. So whether it's a traumatic experience, a happy experience, a profound experience, that vibration is heightening, which is kind of opening that door or getting you into that frequency that you're able to pick up the rest of this stuff. And once you get into that frequency, I think trying to dial it back and get out of it is a little bit harder. You can dial it down, but I think you're kind of there, right? Once you know how to drive a car or ride a bike, you're there. Like, you can't unlearn that, if that makes sense.
Right. Oh, well, it makes total sense, and it also means that the only way forward is to up the frequency more.
Absolutely.
That's part of the grounding of your whole center of your whole earth. It's part of the Kundalini. It's part of all of consciousness and being able to use all consciousness and be able to put it together. And when you bring quantums into the paranormal and you bring everything with it, it is so amazing. And so, I mean, we're just touching the surfaces, and as we go, and that's one of the things about, we call it awakening or whatever. But if you stay down here with your frequencies, guess what else is running around down there? Very low, evil, bad, terrible things. So if you want to do something good for yourself, center yourself, get more into tune so that you can raise that frequency up a little bit and go on and continue. And these things won't be there for you. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I think it's so important to become a conduit, to become a conductor of energy. I often talk about grounding principles, and I talk about electronics because it's the easiest kind of example, but nothing that we operate, if it becomes ungrounded or it's not grounded properly, it doesn't function. So we are no different in terms of receiving energy and downloading energy, metabolizing it. You have to stay grounded in order for that energy to flow properly. And I think when people start to raise or heighten that vibration, they forget that part. And so they're receiving and downloading, absorbing all that energy and not allowing it to flow through them to get the right readings, per se. So again, that Kundalini, the meditation, the grounding principles are just as important as heightening that vibration.
If I may, A question was brought up about me saying that there's veil thins out in May and in October. And then Father Casey, of course, said, the equinox. But we have to remember that energy is cyclical. Okay, so I kind of call it the dam effect, the water dam effect. The gate will open, and the gate will close, but it's very cyclical. But yeah, you'll notice there is an absolute escalation in activity, in my belief, my research and experience. There is an escalation in activity come around about May, and then there's always one around about October. And that is the reason why. I just want to get that answered before we move on. Sorry.
Yeah, and hello, Father Casey, and I'm sorry that I've got. There are many questions out there and hits. And by the way, I saw a comment a little bit earlier about the chicken thing, and someone said, "Oh, Gator's much better," and I agree with that.
I did too. Yeah, I did too.
But again, we're talking about what about the experiences of shadow people?
I just had one. I just got rid of one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got rid of his butt. They're to me, they're harder to move out than a regular entity or a spirit energy. I call them hanger-oners. And we just got done talking about that a couple of shows ago. Kitty and I did, as part of our hauntings conversation topic. And there's what we know about shadow people. We could literally fill in the thimble. True shadow people, we have no real good idea. We just don't.
I'm glad that you all see the same thing, because we don't either. And one of the things that and I hate to go back to Nottingham Hall a lot, but it's been known as one of the best places to see shadow figures. Mm-hmm. And they roam all over the property, and so many different investigators are just amazed at what they see there and how they act and what they do. I don't ever think that they're all evil, or I don't think they're all bad either, because of the fact that I think maybe sometimes it's all the energy they can push, and that's what they're able to
manifest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or to be able to manifest. And I hate it with all the people that decide that, and maybe this is from TV, and Katie, you can help me, and so could Richard, and of course you guys can jump in anytime you want. I see it so much. People think of a dark entity. Oh, I had a dark entity come over my bed. Oh, I had this come over my bed. Just because it's dark doesn't mean that it is bad, and it doesn't mean it's a negative energy. You need to get to understand it and so forth. But one of the bizarre things is that we do see so many different shadow figures. Now, I have seen dark shadows and shadow figures that are extremely up close and personal to you, and will definitely bump into you and want to do some definite.
And a lot of times you can sense that. A lot of times you can sense that.
Yes, exactly.
Use your body. Your body will tell you when it's,
Well, that's one of the great things that we all do that. I mean, and if you neglect your own feelings, don't you think that you're taking a part of the investigation totally out of it? You've got to be part in your senses. You have to trust what you're feeling and what you're doing, and especially with the psychic mediums types and with doing that, I mean, you begin to trust those types of things. I am sorry, I keep on looking out my window. Every radio show I had lately, police are surrounding my house right now. So
Okay, so what else? No recollection of the events in question.
Yes, exactly. So
this podcast will self-destruct at
and then you guys can just move yourselves all over to Sunday nights at 8 p.m. to go. Let's talk about it.
Right, exactly.
Thank you for your patronage. Yeah.
Yeah,
crazy.
So,
I got a question for you guys. I've always been a firm believer that, a lot of people always talk about, well, I've never experienced anything paranormal. I'm a firm believer that most people have, and they just don't realize it.
Yeah.
Everybody wants the Holy Grail, but how many people have actually seen it and then not even known it?
You
Didn't
know,
realize it.
that's a great statement. That's a great statement. I've had a lot of interaction with people. You know, there's several phases to it. I believe I've come across a lot of people. I've realized there's several phases of individual. There's one that just puts up a block, and they have no interaction period with it. If it touched them on the shirt, they'd think it was something else, regardless. Then you have some that I talk to. They say, "Well, I've heard things, but I've never seen anything." And then you get stuff that's kind of, "Well, I just feel it." And a lot of the times too, it's really your body and only allowing you to be able to take what it can absorb.
And I always say that too. I mean, you're
Yeah.
only going to get what you're meant to receive.
Yeah, I mean, we've done a lot of tours. My team has done a lot of tours over the last 15 years, and I have converted every skeptic I ever had. But the thing of it is that they were prepared for the experience mentally.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew something might happen. They knew that somebody was going to be there to support them through it, so their mind opened up. But it seems like the people that have, you know, the fear, the anxiety, the, oh my God, I don't want to see that, their brain will not allow them to be able to see that or interact with that.
Right.
It's a block that we put up. And I think this is the way that they do to protect themselves and keep themselves from getting, some kind of emotional damage from it.
Exactly. What they do is they create their own reality, if you will. That's one of the things that I think that happens. There are a lot of people that want to see and experience paranormal activities so badly. Okay. And they bring that energy, and I'm sorry, it's not the energy, they're like, I gotta see it. And they're so focused in on this part. I mean, when we do a hunt or we have people who are there, I'm always trying to say, what you need to do is sit back in the back row and take it all in. And you got to see the big picture, because it's going to happen on the outside of your eyes. It's going to happen this way. And when you get focused in and you're so determined to see something, it can walk right in front of you, and you are so closed-minded that you will not see it.
Right.
And it takes us.
I mean,
you have to prepare yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I've had people tell me that no, an apparition is supposed to be see-through or smoky-ish, and I'm like, I've seen them as solid looking as your eye.
Yeah.
They're there and then they're not there.
Yeah.
But I found the pure way for me to convert any skeptic into realizing there's life beyond is I do a human pendulum and I put them right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, you want to convince the skeptic that there is life after death? Have a spirit move their body the way I want them to move it for an answer without them having any control over it. That'll straighten them right out real quick.
Yeah.
I talk about oftentimes I talk about consciousness, and I don't think that today's society really kind of recognizes the human consciousness versus the spiritual consciousness. And I think the humanizing of things, the Monday to Friday, the 9 to 5, the mortgage, the car payment, whatever you want to call it, is what kind of gets us kind of forgetting about the senses, the psychic side of us. Then you bring in television entertainment and that tunnel vision you referred to as to what you think you should be seeing. So putting all those together, I think that's a recipe for disaster, because they're expecting the Holy Grail moments. And I try to explain to people that even though I do television, not everything on television is there for educational purposes. Some of it's for entertainment. So don't use all television as an example when you're trying to have a paranormal experience. You have to remember, when you hear those EVPs and those things are moved, that takes an exorbitant amount of energy. It's you're not going to get everything flying around the room at one time. That does happen, but you guys, I'm sure, can attest that that's very rare. It doesn't happen all the time. But because those holy crap moments are occurring on television, that's what we're immediately looking for. And you had said that tunnel vision's occurring, and that's what we're focused on. So all the other amazing paranormal evidence you could be capturing, you're missing because you're humanizing the experience.
Exactly.
See why I don't talk very much on my show? See why I just normally just point to her and I just shut up. Which really, and Tom, you should know by now that's a rarity for me to shut up.
We got there.
Because I just point to her and go, see. Yeah.
we got there.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why, again, we can't have guests on our show because her and I just go back and forth and banter with the subject matter and the people in the room asking questions. That no.
Okay, let me ask you another question.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you.
Oh, that is a nice comment. That's a great comment.
Stephanie, I thought you were my friend. Dang it!
Let me ask you guys a question. What was the prolific moment that turns you towards the paranormal and the path that you're on now? I mean, what led you to that? Because I always say you've got your personal experiencers that make up one set of investigators, and then you've got those that are learning from the outside. I'm being very polite in the way that I say that.
Yeah.
What led you to your path?
Yeah, I've been psychic my whole life. So this is something that's extremely normal to me. It's everyday life. Growing up, even before I can recollect, my parents would tell me things that I would tell them, or predictions I would, talk about, people that were dead that I would see. But it wasn't until I was quite young, but my parents purchased a farm. And, the farm was old and the barn was old, and there was a lot of paranormal activity that occurred. I grew up in a very spiritual family, so it was very open. I could talk about it. I wasn't afraid to mention that I saw this or saw that. And it just intrigued me. I was never afraid of it. So I really feel that part of me was never kind of shut off. Richard and I talk quite a bit about, when there's children, parents don't shush them off. When they say they see something, or as crazy as it sounds, it may not be the imagination. Listen to them, write it down, forget about it if you want to, but don't let it go. And so basically that's what my parents did. They allowed me to grow. So as I got into, puberty, 12-year-old, 13, 14, 15, it just got stronger and stronger. And I also understood that I didn't fit. Something wasn't right. It wasn't depression or anxiety in those respects, but something just didn't fit. And it wasn't until I started kind of opening that door of communication and wanting to do the investigations and learn more that it really hit me even harder. And quite honestly, I didn't start out wanting to be a psychic. I kind of hid behind my paranormal team's name because of the conservative of people in my town. And I was actually welcomed with open arms. So it was a great experience and transition that I could, kind of come out of the closet as a psychic. But I ended up having to quit my full-time job. Like people would come into my office every day asking me for readings. And I was like, no, I don't do that. That's not for me. And I ended up having to quit. And I'm so thankful that I can make a living out of this and help people. I mean, it's not just about money, but the universe basically made my life harder until I deviated my course and did what they wanted me to do. And so here I sit. So that was kind of how it happened for me. And the investigating is kind of the bonus where I get to help people and educate. So that's my story.
Okay, her eloquence kills me. Okay, you see what I deal with? You see what I deal with? Now mine is not going to sound anywhere near as pretty, okay? I'm just saying it's not. I, again, psychic medium, have been that way all my life as well. But in my family, we were Lutherans, which means we were government-issued Catholics, and they do not believe in that kind of stuff. So I kept it all to myself. I can't say that phrase. My oh my goodness moment. Yeah. My oh my goodness moment happened when I was on the police department. I went on a call with a partner. We got a call. There was lights going on in the house that was abandoned. We rolled up on the call. We went in the house. He cleared to the left. I cleared to the right. Got into a doorway, would look like to a dining room. A man was standing right there, see-through, but fully detailed. I raised my weapon. He disappeared. And at that moment, I went, I can't deny this anymore. I just can't. Yeah. So my mom suffered from dementia, Alzheimer's. And in one of her final points of lucidity, she looked at me. She said, I've done this all my life. I've talked to people that aren't here anymore myself. I went, really?
Yeah, you just find out.
What? So it got to a point where it just kind of became a thing. And I never really broadcasted a whole lot of my abilities. And then somebody just looked at me and went, why? You're good. You know what you're doing. I think I even caramelized Bear's onions a couple of times at the Octagon Hall with some stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the thing of it is that you feel good at what you're doing, but I don't have the confidence level personally that she has in what she's doing. So I just don't typically. Now I can't go into a restaurant. Our team goes out for a dinner before an investigation. Somebody's getting red in that restaurant before I leave. I can't help it. You know what I mean? So it happens now. It's, I found out that the more I let it out, and what I call push it out and get the message out there, it's a lot easier on me personally. Is when you retain it and you hold it in, is when it becomes mountable. It begins to mount up on you. And if you don't learn how to push that, I hate using the term exercise, but if you don't exercise your ability or abilities, because I also have clairaudience, so I can hear them without a recorder. And that's crazy crap. That I remember the first time I had that experience, and I finally realized it was me doing a presidential, walking through the house during the day, in the room, had a digital recorder going again, because no offense, it was a female and I was in the house and she was alone. So yeah, we're going to have a digital recorder going. Okay. So we did. And she got to a point in the house where she said, this is where really the stuff really happens. And she asked me a question. She said, why do they stay here? And I went to go answer the question back. Well, I said, why it is. And then I went blank. And then I said, I don't know. I went, what is wrong with you? So I went back and listened to the recording later on. And I'm listening to it. It gets to that point, gets to that question. And she goes, so why do they stay here? And I go, why it is. And then when in that pause, that one pause time, I hear a man go, I don't know. And that one, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I realized this is some crazy stuff, people. This is crazy. I got dead people talking to me. It's crazy.
You know, and that's saying that one of the things that we always do, like if we're having an event at Octagon Hall or wherever else we might be, we'll always tell everybody, you know, one of the things that we like to do personally when we start off is just to sit and listen and watch.
Yeah.
You don't have to go full on investigation the minute you walk into a location. I mean, if it wants to interact with you, it's going to.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we've heard so many disembodied voices and everything just by sitting and being quiet and just listening to the house. Yeah, and, you know, that's just one of the things. And we always tell our groups, you know, pay attention to who's in your groups, you know, because you never know when you're going to have that extra guest.
Yep.
I mean, we've had it happen to us.
I think, too, approaching an investigation as a camaraderie instead of a specimen. So I never approach an entity like, I'm here to study you. You are a specimen and jump on one leg. I never want to disrespect them that way. And I think a lot of us as investigators get caught up in that. There are times when I have, but I really feel like when you open yourself up in terms of being kind and respectful and say, listen, you know, we love to communicate you. We you know, I explain what the equipment is. This is what it does, because you don't know who you're communicating with. And so I think when you get to that level and you start to do it that way, you're going to notice that they're more welcome. You know, you want somebody coming in your house saying, you get over here, talk to me. You know, it's just, you get more bees with honey.
Right. And they know your intent before you ever get there.
Absolutely.
They know your intent before you ever arrive.
You
And if
said
you
that
block
with
the
just a
doorway,
tinge
they're
of New
not
York
going to come
attitude.
through.
You said that with just a tinge of New York attitude, Kitty. I appreciate you so much.
I'm still waiting for Rich to go, hey.
Hey? No, look, let me tell you. She's got me even saying the words about.
A boot. Yeah, that's there's the good one.
And I will say hey once in a while just to mess with her, but she's got me coming across with Canadian stuff. I'm like, hey, I already lost New York. Well, kind of. You know,
I'm kind of curious to see what happens to her
Maryland right now.
Down south.
Yeah.
It's on.
Maryland.
Yeah, you know, as we're going through it, and I keep on going back to Michael's, it seems like every time I look on the board, I always see Michael Barr up there. And we were talking about the senses earlier, and some of the strongness of how it changes in dealing with them, how the outer energy grows. And he asked, but the senses will teach us how to deal with fears. Is this correct?
It'll let you know there should be some fears, I think. You know, I always tell people that you can go out here and drop $5,000 on equipment all day long, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your body is going to be the best paranormal detector you're going to ever have. You walk into a room and feel like you don't need to freaking be there, you probably don't need to freaking be there.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. I mean, unless you're prepared to engage what is engaging you, you probably don't. You know, I mean, of course we have, you know, equipment that we use, but I'm just give me a digital recorder and leave me alone. I'm good. I don't want a bunch of lights and whistles and craziness and everything else going on, because that detracts me here from being in the game. And I want my body, my senses to be able to tell me what I'm going to experience or what I'm experiencing. I don't want a machine to tell me because I'm not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties. Everybody's saying that our video has frozen, but we're not seeing that here.
They may have to jump off and jump back on.
Maybe. Freaking gremlin.
Yeah, well, you know how it is when we all get the stuff going that we all have and we all deal with that we draw energies into us, and there are certain things out there right now that seem to be seeking. You understand what I'm saying when I say that? I mean, whether they're put forth in from the negative side of it, and they want to come and try to affect our daily lives in a way that we don't need them to. And I think it does it with so many people on a norm, but I always think it's I haven't figured out yet why they want to try us first. I guess sometimes I look back and I go, like, if you have if you're a great person, you help all this stuff, all these people out and everything else. It's like the evil or the darker side has a little thing that says maybe every once in a week, if you can convert that one over to our side, maybe you'll get an extra week of ice water or something. I
don't know. Well, everybody seems to be saying we're all back now, so I guess they're all seeing us now. So.
All right, excellent. It was probably as soon as I brought Melvin back on the screen.
Melvin, you're so fired, dude. I don't know how to tell you that, but you're so fired.
That's it.
So fired.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something really funny. Kitty and I were doing our show probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, right, Kitty? And she actually pointed out we caught an EVP during our show.
Oh, it's hilarious because we get that quite a lot. And, on the radio, on the podcast. And we see it so much in the telephones also. But a lot of times, it always happens when we have like a psychic medium on or someone like that, where you start to see
or
these.
Melvin.
Or Melvin.
We still can't hear you, Melvin.
Yeah. It's so great.
It's all Melvin's fault. Tell us about it, Melvin. See? Yeah. I know. God, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
You have to do a road trip with Melvin sometime.
Yeah.
Road trip with Melvin. Never forget it.
He's so fired.
But
people that come to my tours, when the guests come in my tours, we try to make it as kind of as much interactive as interactive. Oh, hello.
Hello. Casey already gave you one.
Yeah.
Casey gonna give me one?
Father Casey already gave you one, brother.
Good. All right. Thank you, Father Casey.
It's time for 2. Sorry about that.
No, I mean, so, we try to make everything as interactive as we can, because a lot of people, and our tours are aimed towards novices mostly, although I'll have teams come in and, and do the tour because they've never been to that location before, or locations before. And, so we try to make ours as interactive as we can, but it's funny when people get in a comfortable mindset or a comfortable environment about talking about their personal experiences, it all just kind of comes open like a floodgate,
Yeah.
It
truly does. It truly does.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. and we got people. How many people here meditate? Does anybody get into the Gothic area? Interest anyone? Exercising abilities, using one's senses, very important. You've got to always have the opportunity to get aside. Maybe that's what meditation can help you with, to be able to get more towards that. We talked more about centering yourselves, and that is the biggest part about it. And if you don't meditate, or if you don't take some kind of therapy inside yourself to take a break and relax, or I listen to 432 frequencies, but it's hard to find a real true 432 or 938 or something like this. But if you listen to certain frequencies to meditate with, or before you go to sleep, it opens you up. Does anyone else do that?
I do. Honestly, I do more grounding than meditation. I know that's guilty, but I do. For me, I think it's so important, and I guess for other people too, you have to have a physical and an emotional expulsion of energy. A lot of us that suffer from anxiety and depression and are having a hard time sleeping, or their senses are dimming a bit. I think it's really important to get that physical, emotional expulsion. So for me, it's my horses, and I tell people when I'm riding, I'm not focused on the car insurance or the kids, or I'm in that present consciousness, and it's physical and it's mental. So when I'm finished riding, I feel I feel centered. And I think it's so important, whatever grounds you and gets that centering feeling is going to help that meditation. And it's going to re-oscillate everything so that everything is back to where it should be. You're defrag and you're able to receive energy cleaner again.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, I love how you say defrag, and it just cleanses you, and then you're able to receive more, because you do get bound up, Billy and Tanya are always big on the salt baths.
Yep.
And being able to cleanse yourself and sitting in that tub and being able to just imagine all of that washing down through, staying in the tub till it goes out the drain, and watching it all just go away. And it's amazing how much relaxed, how much better you feel, the whole sensation that you have. And then you are ready to be acceptable to the senses. That's when you're ready.
Well, I tell you what, I've had a lot of people in the past that say, I need to reset my energy. And a lot of times people don't have the patience to meditate. I'm one of them. But I'll tell you what I will do, and I will recommend every single time is, and Katie's heard me say it a million times, go find some freaking running water. Go by a stream, go by a lake, somewhere where water is running, that vibration level is extremely high. Take your shoes off, sit by the water, shut up, and enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And that'll reset you pretty quick. Plus, I always do the salt baths as well. And, to me, I just don't have the patience to meditate. Now, Frankie Lynn asked a question, guys. I don't know if we want to.
Please do. I'll let you read it, because sometimes it's hard for me to keep up with.
She said, do either of you have any advice for someone who is starting to have psychic type abilities and how to help them grow? I do. I know Katie does. My first one is, I tell many, many people on our show that have abilities want to learn more. First thing you need to do is manage what you got. Don't race. I want to help people. Yep. I want to help people. I want to no. Fastest way to get yourself centered, manage what you feel you have going on, and work through it. You do have to work through the paranormal stuff to be able to get a grip on what you've got and be able to foster and grow it. But the fastest way to screw yourself up is going in this thinking that you need to help people right off the bat. Nope. You need to get a grip on what you've got first, and then that'll allow you to organically grow your abilities yourself without having to be forced to by doing readings and helping people. No. Work on you, get a grip on it, manage it. That'll organically help you grow it, and then work through the paranormal with it without utilizing it to help other people. Right now, you shouldn't do that. That's just my advice. Katie, what do you got?
100% agree. And I think too, people have to realize that they're going to go through an ascension process. And sometimes that ascension process is not very fun. So I describe it like a car for those who can drive standard, or a bicycle for those of you that don't drive. You can either shift into a lower gear and have a higher RPM and running quicker, but you're not getting as fast, or you can gear down, gear up, however, change that gear so that you're running more efficiently. And so that ascension process is sometimes where your spiritual consciousness is heightening, but your body has not changed gears yet. So you're going to notice dizziness. You're going to notice sometimes digestive issues. You're going to be noticing changes in sleep patterns, anxiety, depression. There's certain things that are occurring. And I think that's telling you that your spiritual consciousness is getting farther than you should be. And you got to gear it down, pardon the pun, and kind of try and rebalance yourself so that you continue to work on that psychic sense. And as Richard said, make sure that you're working with what you have. It's good to have a good foundation. No matter what building you build, if you don't have a solid foundation, it's going to crumble, right? So education. Careful with Google. Careful what you wish for, but find some people reputable, some good books that you can start to learn what type of psychic senses you have. There's many different kinds. Not every psychic is the same. So try to kind of get honed in, like he said, learn and work with what you have. From there, you're only going to get better.
Exactly, and you will. And it's amazing. We hear a lot of people that want to help other people.
Of course.
And that's great. But you have to prepare yourself to be able to do that. And you have to be at the top of your game to be able to really deal with that, because the things that we are dealing with, you don't want to deal with when you're not at the top of your game.
No. And honestly, it had a lot to do with why I also didn't burst out on the scene when I started having my abilities, because I wanted to hone them first. I wanted to kind of go a grasp on them and again, organically grow them to where I could have confidence to be able to help people. It's really important.
Right.
And I think you have to have good intentions. If you are out to make money, if you are out to, be famous, if you are out for selfish intentions, it's not going to grow. I do not charge for cleansings. I do not charge for investigations. I do not charge for 90% of what I do, I don't charge for, although I have to make a living. So that's the readings is not about making money. It's about helping people. And I think if anybody wants to get better as a psychic, remember not to do it, or a paranormal investigator. It shouldn't be selfish reasons, because it's not going to work out for you.
Right. Exactly. I agree with that so much. And that's all about intent. We always talk about intent,
Absolutely.
and that's why we get so aggravated when you're dealing with some of these paranormal teams out there, and their intent is they come to the places. They've got their cameras that are all like this. We want to be this. We want to do that. And it's all great and good to do that. But the people who are true boots on the ground, who are really working in this field, they don't get half the credit that they should get, because no one ever gets an opportunity to see those people, because they're out doing the things that they're doing and working the way that they are. But their intent is so pure, Billy, Tanya, Melvin, everyone is here to just consider, here we are. And when we walk into a place, that intent just goes poof. And people, you see it, you feel it, and also the spirits feel it. It's like if you go in and you're nice to, so many people go in and they're afraid, or they're scared, or they have an attitude, or they bring some kind of negative thing with them. It's so funny. And I know, Richard, you could probably attest to this too. When you're doing those tours, or you're doing with people that are there, the people that the spirits are going to stay clean away from right off the bat. And as soon as they leave, the house is going to come alive again.
Right. The energy changes. So and you can have a team of people as an investigative team piled together, because, this one's great, and this one's a great person, that one's a great person. But one or two of them are going to have a bad energy cycle with the team, and that's going to screw up every investigation you've got. And that's just the way it works. I mean, that really and truly is the way it works.
It does. And that's why it's so important to take your time and handpick the people that you work best together with, and be able to really meld into that family, because it's a family thing.
Yeah.
we use that as a benchmark thing.
Yeah. And the reason that you're investigating, so I really kind of focus on this a lot. If you, I differentiate them. So I call some people are ghost hunters and some people are paranormal investigators. And I know it's a play on words, but in my experience, my opinion, ghost hunters are looking for evidence only. And there's nothing wrong with that. But do not walk into somebody's private residence or somewhere where they live or work or breathe, survive, and play with that, because you could be causing a lot of issues for these people. You know, if you just want to pick up evidence, there's some wonderful public places, you guys know this in the States, that you can travel to, that you can get amazing evidence and you're not hurting anybody. Just really question yourself as to why you want to collect this evidence. Is it for yourself or is it to help people?
You know, and if you're helping people, you have to be professional. You have to present yourself as professional. You can't go in and say, "Oh my God, look what I just got," because you're going to freak them out.
Yeah, exactly. Because they react off of everything that you're going in as the professional, and they go right off of it. It's really amazing.
Yep. When I vet members on my team, they have to have a criminal background check. I get it done by the police, because I'm walking into a residence, and if I don't know you, if you say you have, like, I don't know you, right? So I literally make my team members. That's part of it. We have a contract that you sign. There's a certain amount of times you have to show up. There's certain expectations that you have, because to me, you are represented as your team and you have to have that professionalism. And I want these clients to know that their information is safe with us. We have confidentiality agreements. We have all sorts of things that they don't need to feel that we're going to run and throw this, on the internet. 90% of our evidence we don't show. I don't need to prove to anybody what we've captured. So for us, it's not about, we've got some pretty cool pieces, and of course everybody goes, "Oh yeah, that's awesome piece of evidence," but we're not going to parade it around. We don't need to prove anything.
No.
Right.
No.
I've had many people ask me why I don't post a lot of evidence, like the photos I shared. Nobody outside of my group and you all have seen those photos.
Yeah. And they're great, and they're great photos. But you know what? It's like going, and we know I posted somebody else's stuff. I put it on the hall or whatever, and you get so many armchair people that are paranormal investigators that know it all. And it's so funny because you look at the comments, and it was like Billy was talking about full body apparitions. And oh no, a full body apparition does never look like a human being. And I'm like going, what?
And this is coming from somebody that's supposedly
been in the field for a while.
Been in the field for a long time.
A certified ghost hunter.
Yeah, certified.
Classes for $200.
In his mind. Yeah.
And it's so funny because we do see that happen in several different ways. And, for
me personally, the evidence is, it's more beneficial personally between you and your teammates, or the people that are familiar with the location that have experienced that same phenomenon.
Yes.
And that's where you're validated, everything comes together there. But as far as putting it out for everybody to see, there's always going to be somebody, I didn't catch that, so it ain't real,
And that's exactly right. And I think that some of the best investigators, and what I call it, is boots on the ground. I mean, if you're not out there doing it, and you're not doing it we do it a lot. And that's what you've got to do. If you have the passion, then you're going to go help people. You're going to do the things that you are. We're not evidence hounds. I don't want to make up the perfect EVP and everything else. But every once in a while you do a documentary or you do something, and yes, that's when they pick up something good and you share that with them. But it's not all about that. It's about, like Billy said, talking to the client, being able to say, "Oh, you experienced this? Listen what I have. It's the same thing here. You experienced this. We caught this on film." Right. And when they look at it, good. Now the question is, what we need to do something, and this is how we're going to deal with it from this point on, and this is how we want to fix it. So, so many different things to go forward. Well, folks, we've been at 20. We're at an hour and 30 minutes right now. And it has been a pleasure to have you all here tonight.
Thanks for inviting us.
Thank you so
It was a
very
blast, guys.
Well, what I'd love to do is I'd love to have you back again here shortly, depending on how your schedule is. And maybe we could look at it in sometime in near the end of April. Is that all right with you guys?
Works for us.
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. We would enjoy it tremendously. Chat room, thank you so very much. It's been such a pleasure seeing everybody out there today. Oh, I just saw Pointy Stick Joe out there. How you doing, Joe?
Pointy
It's a
Sticks.
pleasure. Yes, it's a pleasure to have you here out of California there. And I'll see you next Sunday on S4 Radio. It is a pleasure again. And before we go, I want to give you the time, since this show is going to go as long as it wants to go. I want everyone to know where they can get a hold of you. Let's Bark the radio show again, everything else. So, Richard, you want to go out? We let
sure.
Katie go first. We'll let you go out, and then we'll let Katie go out last.
It's the time for the shameless plugs.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Facebook under Richard Ruland. My team page is the Haunted Travelers. The show's page for Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern is called Let's Talk About It. It appears on my page, but we've also, quick announcement, have become members of the Paranormal United Network Television. And we've been picked up by that network for our show. And so we'll be seen in a couple of different arenas with that. And yeah, I do the tours. I've got one coming up March 20th at 3 locations in Chatsworth, Georgia. If somebody has an interest in that, let us know. All the proceeds go back to the building to help keep them renovated and keep them going. So if somebody has an interest in trying to give back to the paranormal, you've got our locations, and obviously you also have the Octagon Hall. So places to try to keep things going, guys. That's what I try to do with our team and our stuff. So Katie, you're up. What's up?
You can catch me at katieturnerpsychic.com or the Canadian Supernatural Research Society.com. Also on Facebook, Katie Turner Sensitive Psychic Medium, or my private page, Katie Turner. And yeah, if you're looking for a reading or some paranormal assistance, don't hesitate to send me a message.
She's a lot more.
And I don't need to emphasize, or maybe I do. Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Facebook Live. Let's talk about it, Richard and myself. All things paranormal.
Excellent. And again, it's been such a pleasure to have you all here.
Well, thank you, guys.
We're going to run it out here right now. Billy, what do we got going next week?
Bear, I don't even know.
So you don't need it.
I don't even know what we're doing.
I know we got
try to go live with
Angel
Patrick
Lee.
Jackson. We're trying to go live with Patrick Jackson, but what we'll probably do, that will be a pre-recorded show. We're going to have 4 guests. We'll do a roundtable situation, and it'll probably be about an hour and a half, 2-hour show. And we'll probably broadcast that pre-recorded because of the time difference from the UK, California, and everything else. And that will be with Patrick, and also again with Steve. Gosh dang, isn't it terrible when you forget a guy's name and you know so well? I said it about 800 times Sunday night.
Steve Colburn.
Yeah, Steve Colburn. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry, Steve, if you're listening. But it was your time in the hole. But we also have Angel Lee coming on the 23rd of April, where she'll be taking phone calls. Phone calls. We'll be doing live chats with her and readings. So look forward to that coming up. And you all have a blessed night. And
you guys too.
And once again, it was a pleasure. And thank you again, chat room. You can see us Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, Into the Far. Watch us Friday at noon, 1 p.m. Eastern on the Conspiracy Clan. And you can also catch us on S4 Radio, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Central, and 10 p.m. Eastern. So Enjoy. Thank you all again. God bless.
Good night.
Take care.
Bye.